and justice for all.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone at home. Welcome to our county legislator, Lori Tortel. I'm not going to introduce you. You don't have to. Oh, okay. Chief, how's everything?
Good, sir.
Oh, man, I forgot my mask. Keys. Keys? What? Subway. I have the minutes for the last town board meeting, November the 8th.
Did you want to do public comment on agenda items?
We'll do it. Since I said this, we'll do this. Okay, thank you, though. Do I have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Now back to the agenda. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Anybody? All right. And I don't care if it's in the agenda or not. You can. Yes? No? Lori?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I wanted to wish everybody a very happy and safe Thanksgiving, and also remind everybody here and out there that this year, more than ever, we really need to support our small businesses on Shop Small Saturday and Plaid Friday. You know, we have the big businesses and the online market fighting for our business with their sales and their specials, but our main streets hold a lot of unique items, gift certificates that will help our businesses, help us directly here to our friends and our families here too. So I just ask and encourage everybody to please shop small this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Financial reports, we transferred into the paying account $64,498 to cover the check run dated November the 17th. Big items were medical premiums, $35,645. Royal carding, $2,360 for landfill charges. CLG insurance, $5,013 for cyber insurance renewal. Edmonds and Associates, $4,070 for IPS maintenance. Global Monticello, $2,701 for sanitation diesel. Orange and Rockland, $2,940 for electric supply and delivery for all departments. State Controller, $10,233 for court-collected fines. Rockland County Solid Waste, $12,985 for sanitation landfill charges. And Yankee Construction, $7,300 for waterproof retaining wall. Do I have any questions? Everything all right with that? We'll move right on. Since our highway superintendent and his secretary, what do you call the confidential secretary?
Confidential secretary to the highway superintendent.
Okay. Since you're at the meeting tonight on your own time, I'll move you up on the agenda, and you can tell us about your electronic waste.
Okay, great. Thank you, Supervisor.
And if you would, please stand up to the microphone.
I think I got it. All right, so thank you. So this is just basically about electronic waste. We're no longer in the town of Highlands going to be accepting electronic waste. It's also called e-waste, also known as computers, televisions, cameras, our cell phones that we use, we upgrade. You know, what do you do with your old phone? We have to recycle it. So basically what we're going to do is offer the residents, the town of Highlands and Highland Falls, an electronic waste day. It'll be held once a year, depending on the availability, but it'll be once a year, probably in June, midway through the year. And it will be available for the residents to come and drop off their electronics, their e-waste. So they can utilize the event that we will be holding each year, or they can bring it back to a retailer. It is required by law that anyone that sells an electronic has to accept it to be recycled as well. So either way, we're just not going to be hauling them from the residents' homes at this time, moving forward. And in exchange for hopefully, rectifying that whole situation, we can hold an event once a year, as long as you approve of that event being held.
Okay, now, you're not going to pick up my television, so how am I going to get rid of that television? Because I bought one and I didn't give it to the person that sold it to me.
Even if you didn't buy it from Best Buy, you can still bring your television to Best Buy. They are required as a retailer who sell electronics to accept electronics to recycle.
Any electronic?
Any electronics.
Whether they sold it or not?
Whether they sold it or not. So any retailer. And the retailers that you purchase from, Best Buy I'm using as an example, if you cannot bring it to a Best Buy location, you call them, you let them know that you have a TV that no longer works, they will provide you with exactly what you need to ship it back to them at no charge. So they cover the shipping, they send you the boxes, and provide the label to ship these items back, whether it be a mouse to your computer or a television. Those retailers will provide the sources to send it back.
Okay, now you mentioned the town would have something in the future.
Right.
Pickup day or whatever you call it.
Right. And that's usually what the municipalities around the area also offer, is a once-a-year e-waste event. What it is a box truck comes. They have the proper licensing to handle this equipment, the electronic waste, and they fill up their truck. They also come with employees, so the town of Highlands employees don't have to do a thing. They do it all. So a car can pull up, they'll open their trunk, and they'll take out whatever is waste, and they go on their way.
Pat?
So Board, I just want to let you know that this is not something we want to do, it's something that we are required to do by law. DEC came up with a law at one date, I forget exactly when it was, requiring municipalities or people not to pick up curbside electronics. It's worked here, we've gotten away with it. Salvation Army has been very, very good to us and have come and picked it up for nothing for us, but you have to have a dry indoor storage for it, which we don't have. There's so many things that we don't have. Our neighboring towns, I'll give you Cornwall and Monroe, they do this once or twice a year. We have to start off with once a year. I don't know if we'll need it twice, but once a year I think will be suffice for this. It's going to take some getting used to for people, but it's what law says we have to do. We don't want to be like New Windsor. New Windsor says, your problem, take it to the transfer station. You can pay out there. They charge people at the transfer station to take this stuff. You know, we want to continue taking it for nothing and just absorbing it into the budget. Maybe like Tiffany came up with the scrap steel money, taking that scrap steel money and putting it into paying for this container to be brought here for them to take the electronics away for us. So we think it's going to be very good. I can't say it's going to slow down garbage all that much, but it could slow it down a little bit on what we're taking in. And we don't want to see it. If we see it in people's cans, a TV in people's cans, we'll leave it. Because by law, we are required not to take it. And Tiffany and I both decided neither one of us want to go to jail for this. And that could happen with DEC the way they are, between the fines and we don't want the town board or the residents to suffer for us not complying with this.
So if I got my information right, if you have an electronic waste event, that's going to cost the town $1,200 for the day, I guess, or something.
Yes, and that's for the TVs or whatever's brought to us.
It's for that
So-
one box truck and one employee that the company will send.
Right. So, and we've searched around and found out that this is probably the best company to do this. And other municipalities, like I said, around us use them too.
And also,
Yeah, if you hold off on contracting with that, the county does do e-waste pickups around the county. So contact DPW, I'll contact our DPW. They either recently held one or they're about to hold one in Newburgh.
Well,
I'd have to double check the date. Have you spoken?
We
to-
don't want Newburgh, we want for town of Highlands.
No, I
so-
understand that. I'm saying this,
Okay.
that's the most recent event that came across my desk. So we can look to the county to come in and do an e-waste here in this community. So that, and that's a service that is provided for free, that you wouldn't have to pay that $1,200. So let's work on that before you would contract with this
Right.
company for that $1,200.
We'll make a call this week.
Now, the only, we'll call it bad thing I can see about this is my TV broke down yesterday. So now I've got to store it somewhere until
Yes,
you
sir.
guys come around, or I bring it to one of the Best Buys or one of those.
You
Or the
have-
transfer station.
Right. You
Okay.
can get rid of it. You can call somebody up and say, can you take this to the transfer station? Can you take it to Best Buy for me? But to put it out on the sidewalk, it's illegal, and we will not be doing it after January 1st.
After January 1st.
January 1st. We'll give it till the end of the year.
Okay.
So,
Breaks tomorrow, you're good.
yeah, tomorrow you're good, but
I don't have a broken TV, obviously. I'm
And
just-
then
just
So
trying to-
that's
collection
what-
for the holiday is also tomorrow for the town, right? Yeah, garbage and recycling is being collected on Wednesday morning, rather?
On Wednesday, the Fort
Yeah.
Montgomery.
For Fort Montgomery.
Yeah, why don't you make those announcements?
Sure,
while you got
so
it?
because of the Thanksgiving holiday, all of us town employees are going to be home with our families, so Friday, there is no recycling for Fort Montgomery at all. We're not picking up this week at all for Fort Montgomery's recycling, but Fort Montgomery's garbage will be picked up on Wednesday, so it will be a pretty heavy day for our sanitation employees, along with highway, most likely. They'll come on board and get that day over with. So some schedule changes. Just try to stay on our Facebook page for updates. Sign up for the mobile text alerts. I do update that and let the residents know when there's any changes in scheduling. And Mary Jane, of course, puts it in the local paper as well for any changes for the future. Thank
Any
you.
questions from the board?
I have something, if Jim wants to go ahead, but before they leave, they were kind enough to come, I'm going to add to this conversation. But go ahead and ask Jim.
Well, I was just going to say, I think our television coverage came on about halfway through what you were talking about.
Okay.
It was on the whole time?
Okay.
Oh, okay, good, good. I just want to make sure people at home
sure,
heard about all this.
absolutely.
So just so we're clear, if there are electronics that are out with recycling or trash through the rest of this month, we will be picking that up.
yes.
So, but effective January 1st going forward, if our folks see any electronics that are out, either recycling or trash, you're going to leave it there.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
And we're going to be looking at possibly something with the county at some future date where there's going to be electronic waste day in the town of Highlands.
Yes.
Okay. And in the meantime, Bob and Jim and others who have this TV that they want to get rid of, that's sort of up to us to figure out, that we either hold on to it, store it someplace, or we contact Best Buy, or we contact someone who is an electronics seller.
Sure.
And they should be able to arrange with us,
Correct.
no charge to us, to me as a homeowner,
To recycle it.
to be able to recycle it.
Correct.
To include even possibly shipping it
That
to
is
them.
correct, yes.
Free of charge. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
You got it.
So before they're dismissed, although it's part of my liaison report, I'd like to talk a little bit about recycling, okay? And I have a guest speaker. Pat, would you mind bringing in my guest speaker? Thank you.
This is the 95-gallon Otto.
Okay, so recycling June of 2020 was over $90 a ton. Municipal solid waste was actually cheaper at that time by the ton. We go to Rockland County because Orange County is cost prohibitive, they're higher, and driving that far, we'd have to have another garbage truck or another driver because it's gonna take 2 hours to make a trip going back and forth. So since that time, recycling is now down below $30 a ton. And the municipal solid waste, I believe, went up to, is it $106 a ton?
$108.
$108 a ton.
Correct.
So there's an opportunity for savings. And I am a culprit because I still have a can that they dump by hand rather than the automated one. So I was glad to spend $80 for a big one. Probably won't fill it up every week. They have the automated truck, whether it's the one-arm banded or the tippers on the back of the other trucks. And I am hoping to encourage people to contribute to recycling to save money. Now, Pat talked about something that's accurate. The roll-off, when it comes, costs, I think it's $250 every time they take it away.
Yes.
I'm more than happy to fill up a roll-off, because you have to remember, when that truck goes down to Stony Point to dump and takes an hour and a half before he comes back, there's a cost associated with that I would say is probably about $125 to $150. So whether the truck is taking it as municipal solid waste, or if it goes away in the recycling container, either way, a truck has to make a trip to get out of town, one way or another.
On top of the risk
So
of
I
driving
believe
out
in
of
this.
town.
And some numbers I want to give, and I want to thank Tiffany and Pat both for helping me out with this. In the year 2020, we had 3,017 tons of municipal solid waste. And in that same year, we had 416 tons of recyclables, coming out to 13.7% by weight of recyclables. In 2021, so far, through October, we have 2,670 tons of municipal solid waste, 342 tons of recyclables, coming out to about 12.82% by weight, not by volume, by weight. Ermin, Lori would know, the guy from the county, Ermin, the recycling coordinator, Ermin Slovic or something like that, she's on her phone, came here and talked about 2 years ago about what can and can't be recycled. More than that, he talked about what most municipalities achieve percentage-wise for recycling. Most of them do 20% or better. I'd like to see us do better, and we'll save money doing it. So I hope everybody's proud of my new garbage can. I thank you for delivering it, Pat. And I'll finish up everything else during my liaison report. Thank you both very much.
So before we finish this up, I also want to let everybody know that if we get ourselves up in trouble in Rockland County, where we have any cardboard, any bulk cardboard in a load of garbage, they will fine us and throw us out. Right now, solid waste in Orange County is $120-some per ton. We can't afford to pay that. We're fortunate enough to go an hour round trip to Haverstraw, then make whatever it would take us to go out to New Hampton and back and pay their dollar amount for solid waste. So if everybody can just do their due diligence on trying to recycle a little bit better, it'll help out a lot. So, and with this being said, a garbage truck, our garbage trucks, I know the board basically approved to get a new one-arm side Bandit automated truck. I was told at a conference this week that it'll be 2023 before I even see the production of that cab and chassis with what's going on in this world. So, yeah, and everything was like that. So, but thank you for listening.
Thank you, and I also have, the rules and regulations. I'm not going to read them off now. It'll take 15 minutes. I don't know if they're on the Facebook page
They're on the
or
Facebook
on our
page,
website.
and I would like to update the website with all of that information to help with the residents.
What
Thank
should or
you.
shouldn't be recycled, all those things. So, thank you both very much.
And while we're off the agenda, as we had from the beginning, the Highway Department of Sanitation just informed us of their schedule over Thanksgiving weekend, because it's Thursday and Friday and the weekend. The town hall will be closed Thursday and Friday, so there'll be no offices here. However, the ambulance corps is still on duty, and so while we're off having our Thanksgiving, some of the ambulance corps will be there taking care of us. The police department is still on duty. There's no day off Thanksgiving for them. So the ones that are working, I appreciate what you do for your town and for your family. And too bad your family may have to suffer not having you at a Thanksgiving dinner. But it's duly appreciated and duly noted. Thank you. Liaison reports. Wait, no, time out. We're still off. Would you guys have something to say, ambulance corps? Or did you just come to hear us?
We just want to find out what this discussion of ambulance purchase of the fly cars about? I thought the grant was already in, we already got it, what are we discussing?
I'm making it clear to the town board exactly what we're getting for $65,000. That's the only thing.
And Bob, I asked Jeff if he'd like to be here in case there were any questions on the part of the board regarding that.
All right, well, we've asked questions all along, right, Jeff? We've had emails back and
We thought
forth.
you might have changed
And
your mind.
No, for $65,000, we're getting a fully equipped fly car for the ambulance corps. And the radios was my question. You have the radios and the county is gonna put one in. So the radios are taken care of. So you're gonna have a fully equipped, painted, lights on, lights off, radios, fly car. That's it. I just want to make sure the board understood what we were getting for not for our money, for the grant money. And so the people at home understand, we're getting $65,000 from Senator Skoufis, through, I should say through him, he's not going to pay it out of his pocket, but through Senator Skoufis's office in Dasney of New York, we're getting $65,000 for a fly car for the ambulance corps to replace the fly car that was wrecked.
And DASNY requires a resolution of the board, so
Yes.
that's before you this evening.
Okay? I mean, does the town board have any questions while they're here? Nope. So we're all set. We're going to do a resolution tonight that's required for the grant, and Kelly will be putting the grant, with the resolution, she'll be putting the grant in on Monday. That's it.
Just to be clear, it's for a Chevrolet Tahoe.
Okay. That's the vehicle.
That's what it says in the resolution.
Thank you.
Supervisor?
Yes,
Can I
sir.
stand up? The reason why I think Mr. Burns is questioning this is because I went to Jeff Gathers and thought there would be ways to save money to cover a lot more than just that. The maintenance, the wear and tear, the size of the vehicle. I never got a no from Mr. Gathers. I just tried to do the best I can do for the town of Highlands Ambulance Corps, trying to downsize the vehicle a little bit, saving fuel, at least 4 to 5 miles a gallon on the low end. So if that's the reason why they're questioning and making sure this is a Tahoe, alls I did was getting price quotes on it, is all I was doing, as the guy that is supposed to be in charge of all town of Highlands vehicles. So by law, that's one of my jobs. So as I said, it was just trying to help out, which I'll never overstep again if that's what I did here. So.
So if I may, there was no question about that. It's not a back and forth. I want to make sure you know that. In my emails to everybody, I did say that Pat came down, we had a great conversation. I talked to Tiffany, and after the fact, the board said, let's get the Tahoe. I made that clear, so there is no debate back and forth.
Before you sit down, Jeff,
Yes.
before you sit down, on the proposal, which was dated November the 8th, it said the pricing is valid for 10 days.
We've talked to Pete, and he's okay with this.
Okay.
We told him
And-
that we had to go to the board, if anything. And I was still talking to Pat when he came down. So Pete has been called. That's the gentleman that we're dealing
And
with.
Justin, are we going to be able to sign a contract without the grant being,
We're talking to
Phil.
Pat about, to Pete about that too.
okay,
So that we can't put any money down for the, because it's a grant.
yeah,
So he
okay.
is-
But you've got that taken care of then,
We're talking to Pete about that,
all right.
okay?
And let me see. Yeah, what company is this for?
It's the same one that we use specialty vehicles for
Oh,
our
okay.
ambulance.
I know who you mean, yeah. Okay. You have anything else for us, or?
385, the stretcher is now done. So we have to take the 385 out of service. That stretcher that we talked about going forward, when we were getting the new one, was that we can't service them anymore. They're over 15 years old.
Mhm.
So we're down to one ambulance.
For how long?
we would have to get a stretcher. I'm gonna call Carl and see if he has one that we can possibly use during the next stretch, to see what he says. Because that one can't be serviced as we stated before. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll get back to the agenda. Liaison, Councilman Sullivan.
So, the zoning board of appeals, I was unable to attend last Wednesday, had a WebEx meeting. They had a matter which had a public hearing on Mountain Avenue, and that was adjudicated, that was decided upon. And they have another matter before them for a use variance. No public hearing was set yet, that's in process. I don't know if they're gonna meet in December or not. If they do, next meeting I'll let you know. As I always say, it's the third Wednesday of the month. It's on the website, online meeting data. Every form, every application is always on that page, and anybody can log in and join those meetings. Planning board was last Thursday. They met on the third Thursday. They meet in person here. I was able to attend most of it. They had a public hearing on Trans Hudson Management, which is down where Dunkin' Donuts is at. That public hearing was closed, and I believe that was acted upon, right, Justin? Or no? Okay.
No, still waiting for the
Okay.
county to
So the
respond.
public hearing was closed on that matter, and they approved a curb cut. That was the extent of their meeting. The Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee met here last Friday, and we had a WebEx guest speaker. Her name is Kat Carroll. She has to do with NYSERDA, and she spoke about the stretch energy code. I know Jim commented on an email that she sent out, which we're bound by the end of the year to act on it. And our building inspector has been pretty full with things to do. I believe they changed the date to what they said was June 31st. There is no June 31st, that's an error. It's June 30th, but till June of next year is when they extended it to. Gives us time to talk about it, perhaps act on it, and Philip would have to have some training in regard to administering that code, that portion of the code. With the sewer, Dawn from Lankin Tully, I talked to her on the phone today, so the whole system has been inspected now. Some spots have been jetted. We kinda are gonna get a report on, we know where infiltration, if any, is coming from. So I'm not going to speculate on infiltration, except to say, during the month of October, we had 6.9 inches of rain for the month. We had 4 days in a row where that plant had over 200,000 gallons a day going into it. So there is indeed infiltration. Doesn't violate the permit, as long as you stay below average. Our average was this 106,000 gallons per day average for the month. And traditionally, April and May are lower flows. We're getting into the heavier flows now. And with water usage, I'm not prepared to talk about that a lot, except it's way up. It was up over 100,000 gallons average per day for the month of September, I believe it was. I would ask people to be careful. Bog Meadow's full, there's water everywhere. We all know what happened a year ago. I would ask people to take it easy on how much water that they're using. So that's my report on that. I talked about the recycling. I'm not gonna read off all of the other things associated with it. And I think I'm done, except now that I'm an old man, you're gonna have to listen to my stories. Back in 1982, the government built a transfer station out on 293, but they weren't that good at it. So they decided to bring Orange County in to run it for them, on the condition that the town of Highlands would be able to dump their garbage there, which up until 2017, that's what we did. At that time, Rocco Galoo ran it. Bobby Scott was a trailer driver. He quit and I replaced him. So I used to haul the garbage out to New Hampton landfill, and a decision was made by Lori's predecessor and the Physical Service Committee in the county to allow outside garbage in. So they were allowing from Westchester County approximately 52 tractor trailers per day at 110,000 pounds per trailer to import garbage. They were making money, everything was cool until a couple of years. I'm not criticizing Michael Edelstein, but Orange Environment sued to have that landfill closed down, which they did. I actually hiked it this weekend. Sewer plants and landfills are where I hang out in my spare time. When I worked there, the tipping fee was $9 a ton, And once they closed that down, it went from going there to a place in Pennsylvania called Taylor Township. I've been to that landfill. It's an abandoned coal mine, and they fill it in, so you're driving 105 miles at a cost of $120-some a ton if it goes to the county. And the per capita garbage production, even with recycling, is higher now than it was then. So I'm going to submit to the people of New York that that is not an environmental victory. My family is from Pennsylvania, my father's side. The coal mine he grew up on was stripped, and there's now New York garbage in it. And if you think that's an environmental victory, I don't. So I hope we can increase recycling and reduce municipal solid waste. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Councilman King.
Well, back in 1975, thank you. I only have a few things tonight. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. I'm going to start with the dial-up bus, and since our illustrious chief of the dial-up bus is here, I can say thank you and publicly for what you're doing. You're doing a great job. The report is that we got a group called Infill, Transpo Group, performed an infill assessment a few weeks ago, and it went great, by the way. And Transit Orange and Transpo will be implementing questionnaires to riders in the next few months to see, to get feedback, to see how we can improve the program. So I like that, the fact that we're going to go out here and solicit from the customer, call that the voice of the customer, right? To hear what they think about the service. One of the things also that's a new initiative is trying to get a cover for the dial-up bus, because there's no space apparently down in the current spot right now. We're going to have to move it down to the water plant, I think it was sewer plant. And so you're talking to county about trying to get a cover. It's going to cost like $5K or something like that.
It's an enclosed shelter for the dial-up bus.
Yeah, it's a closed shelter, actually. So, good initiative. Glad the county's here today. We need some money. Help us out. All right, thank you for that. And the other thing is drivers. So if you're at home and you're watching this and you have nothing to do, and you just happen to have license for a dial-up bus, we need you. You know, that's how they got me in the Army. I just watched somebody say, "We need you," and next you know, they got me. So we need drivers to continue this service, and and you've heard me say for the last 6 years, I don't think this is something that we could do without. We have a lot of people that rely on this to get around, particularly our senior citizens. And if I left anything out from what you sent me, feel free to chime in, Tiffany.
That's about it.
I got one last thing, and it's from the center. A lot of good things happening there, which everyone knows that the center is contracted to do our senior programs. So, monthly health presentation sponsored by the Office of the Aging happens the third Wednesday of every month. It's going to continue to happen at the center. They had a trip to Sight and Sound, which is in Pennsylvania. It was sold out in October. It was sold out.
Excellent.
And everybody apparently who went enjoyed that trip. And then there's a trip coming up on 26 November to the casino. And there's only 3 seats remaining. So it looks as though, you know, if you think back a year ago, nobody was going anywhere, nobody was hardly coming outside. And so now all of a sudden here we have some normality where folks can get out and go experience some social events in a healthy way. I think that's very good and very important. And we also have, with the Highlands Arts Alliance, Artesian Market with multiple vendors scheduled. This is going to be at the American Legion on December 4th. So the idea is you're going to go down to the American Legion. Inside there'll be multiple vendors in there where you could just go and do some shopping. I think that's another great program. Men's Social Hour for seniors continues every Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And back by popular request, Family Bingo is back for prizes, and you can get prizes and all that, and then it's going to be on December 10th. And we got the illustrious Jeff Gathers as a guest caller. at the Holy Innocents, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. You want to be there for that one. All right, that's all I got, Supervisor. Thank you
sir.
very much.
Councilman Parry?
Not much, Bob. Again, as I've mentioned before, the sanitation department does a great job picking up everything that's put out. But as they explained tonight, maybe after the first, everything won't be picked up. So I'll be keeping the community nice and clean. And as we get closer to the winter, just remind the folks that when it snows, stay off of the road so the crews can go out and do the job that they normally do to keep the roads open and safe. That's all.
Councilman Jim Mulden?
Yeah, and I'll keep mine brief tonight, too. First, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We wish you all the very best. And I'd like to leverage a little bit on what Lori mentioned, that last week I was not able to attend it. I was actually away at work, but the Chamber of Commerce met and elected a new board. Charlene Yell is the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Jay Odell is the vice president. Suzanne Brahm is the secretary, and Elena Dianoso is the treasurer of the chamber. Very happy to see that team in place. A big event that's starting just this weekend, actually, and Lori talked about, is Small Business Saturday. And I know Charlene and others have been out talking to businesses, and so if you are a small business owner, certainly this weekend is your weekend. And I would like to even sort of say, let's call this a local business weekend coming up. And just get out, support our local businesses, support the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce lives on DD, donations and dues. And so the strength of any Chamber of Commerce is its membership. So seriously think about joining the Chamber of Commerce, donating to the Chamber of Commerce, donating dollars and time. And it's going to be a very viable with excellent, excellent leadership. So congratulations if you're watching tonight, Charlene, Jay, and everyone else. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Chief, have anything for us?
I just say happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you.
I forgot something. I forgot to say that I had spoken to the PBA president, Brandon Hill, in regards to the negotiations. Right now, we, meaning the town, are prepared to go into those negotiations. We've already met and come up with our course of action. They, as the PBA, have a challenge right now because their previous attorney is, I believe, retired, and so they're now in the process of hiring a new attorney. So just so you all know and the public knows that it's not us stalling, it's them having to work through that, and then we'll all be ready to go. But they have been notified. The other thing I wanted to say is I visited the library. And I don't know, maybe most people knew this and I just didn't, that the library is functioning almost completely back to normal, meaning they're open to the public, and you can also go in and use the spaces for events. So starting on 10 December, I'm going to start an initiative to help generate some more interest in the library. I'm going to start a reading program on December 10th from 3 to 5, and it's probably going to be a monthly program. But that's in collaboration with the librarian. She'll work in conjunction. But one of the things she said, she's been putting it on Facebook, she's been doing a whole bunch, but still not a lot of people coming in, or they kind of trickling in. And I told her I didn't know that they were open like that, where you could just come in and use the conference room and things of that nature. So I just wanted to put that out to the public.
Thank you. Pat, you have anything? Okay, further down in the agenda, whereas the town of Highlands is making an application for consideration of a grant as administered by the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the purchase of a 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe from Specialty Vehicles for use by the town of Highlands Volunteer Ambulance Corps. And whereas the town will apply for a $65,000 grant, and DASNY has provided a request for information and will require a municipal agreement for the project. Whereas the acquisition of the vehicle for use by the Ambulance Corps is a Type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, as evidenced by the implementing regulations at Section 617.5 C 2631. Now therefore be resolved that the Town of Highlands Supervisor is hereby authorized to make the application, execute the requisite project information sheets and any further municipal agreement for and on behalf of the Town of Highlands, and to deliver the executed documents to DASNY. Be it further resolved that the Town of Highlands is hereby authorized to accept the grant funds in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Be it further resolved that the supervisor and officers of the town are hereby authorized and empowered to make, execute, and deliver, or cause to be made, executed, and delivered in the name of and behalf of the town, all such certificates, agreements, documents, and papers as may be necessary to effectuate the and carry out the contents of the foregoing resolutions and the terms and conditions imposed by DASNY. Be it further resolved that the aforesaid resolution shall take effect immediately. I'll ask for a motion to move the resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Perry?
Aye.
Councilmember Moblin?
Aye.
Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye. Okay. Is there any other business we need to do? Beach have anything? Ambulance Corps have anything? President of the Ambulance Corps have anything? Okay.
Even my garbage can has nothing to say.
See that? So I'll ask for a motion. I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel pay increase and union contracts. We will not be coming back out of the executive session, so at this time, I would like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, and God bless you all for being with us and taking care of this town. A motion to go in executive session?
Motion.
All in favor? So
Aye.
carried.
Aye.
Thank you all.